It's been looking pretty good overall for INTZ as they coursed through their choice of map. It had its bumps, it had its bruises, but now it's Nuke and a chance to 2-0. But Sharks are going to have a whole lot to say about that. We had a phenomenal performance earlier on Nuke between NRG and Furia. Let's hope for more of the same.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we know that the Brazilians can bring a lot of aggression and a lot of flair to their game, and we'll see if that remains true here on Nuke, or if it's going to be more of a methodical approach. Obviously, it's kind of hard to live up to the playstyle of Furia, but still, there's a chance, I suppose. Strafe, well, the users over there, not seemingly too convinced by Sharks' chances, but we did see the GG.bet odds. They were definitely favoring, I guess, yeah, the loser of Mirage going into it. It is their map pick after all, but we'll see how it pans out for them. They're going to start on the T side, and out into yard they go. Similar fashion to what NRG did, actually. No utility whatsoever, just jumping about, getting into secret.
Pretty courageous, because the USPs at that range can be a real nightmare. Cello on the cross alongside Jean, going to be able to claim themselves two. Make it a third. Cello goes back in. Leo a bit worried as potential push behind, and Cello with a 4K. USP shots all day. First round goes the way of INTZ.
That was a quick reaction as well from the INTZ boys there. With the rotation, you could see 3 players darting through vent the second it gets spotted out in yard. So definitely being, well, committed to the cause. Cello with 4. He did have a pretty damn slow game on Mirage just now, especially compared to his first outing there on the map. So for him to get 4 frags right off the bat has to do him good, building a lot of confidence. Also, more importantly, getting his team off to the right start. The eco coming in from Sharks. They're going to get picked off as they try to move down to secret again. Zan with the AUG from heaven. It's going to be a nuisance to deal with. KNG chimes in as well. He wants to build up as much money as possible with that MP9. So he can get some easy money in the bank and potentially get to an op earlier. Knack, 14 HP, finds one at least, but not going to be able to find KNG as well. So, AUG down. I'm assuming KNG is going to pick that up. But all over, easy round for the CT side.
All those kills with the MP9 going into the AWP fund for KNG, which he's going to love. He's already picked one up.
Yeah, the team's probably pretty big fan of that as well.
And it's not just the glass cannon either. It's with some nades and full Kevlar.
He's got all the bits and bobs here. That immediately just makes him that much more of a threat. On the side of Sharks, they're going to buy into this, but no ops. SG in the hands of Leo Drunken. He's been able to find some success with that as well. Zan's going to try to make his way down into it. Secret, no real precedence there from the side of Sharks either. They just have Leo on top of Silo. I'm not really sure if he spotted that at all, but nonetheless, Cello, bit of a blunder there, not hitting the slant to the wall, so he's going to take damage dropping down. But it shouldn't be too much of a disaster.
Sharks going to be looking to expunge any presence on outside. KNG has a lot of smokes to contend with his AWP. Molotov tossed down into secret, just to be careful.
That leads me to believe that they don't know about Zan's position. Otherwise, they might have saved that to Molotov off the corner. They still have to deal with KNG, though. Ideal position for him to do some damage. Already off we go.
Oh, it's a massacre. They're all clumped up together. They're stuck between 3 separate angles trying to get into main. It is as easy as INTZ could have hoped for. And of course, KNG, hot off the back of 31 kills on Mirage, is not going to miss those shots.
Yep. Actually, it takes so long for Sharks to actually get in towards main there that the smoke that they set up to kind of block off the path for Zan actually fades by the time they're making the swing in. So a little bit of indecision or just poor execution out of Sharks there early on. It's going to make it all that much easier for INTZ to get a 3rd round. Now back on pistols. Quick tempo once more. Cello's not going to find any frags just yet. Luckily, Destiny's there to help him out until he manages to adjust.
So apparently, in the last map, when KNG stood up, when he was really animated after pulling off a sick play, what he screamed to exit was, "Put my picture on your wall," which is some next-level trash talking. I love that.
Fantastic.
I absolutely love that. That's brilliant.
Oh, man. You gotta love it when players get creative with that stuff, instead of just being the casual like, "Oh, I'm so much better than you."
It's like, literally put my picture on the wall and worship me.
Yeah. that is some next level banter right there. Gotta love it. KNG delivering in more ways than just one. Seems like J&T doesn't want to be outdone just yet. Finds the opening pick with the op onto Cello from Squeaky.
And so far, Sharks have managed to get their impact felt in round 5 with a quick fire kill onto Cello. RCF is making inroads through Hut. No players above him.
Oh.
Apart from Zand, who's on Catwalk, but not directly above him on top of Hut, where a lot of people will play, but Exit at least is going to come back in with his SG.
I'd say RCF probably split versus Vinny. Although Nuke with the frag onto Destiny, and Exit still winning out the duel versus Yell, leaves KNG alone. 1v3 situation, A-bomb site. Partly opened up, and yeah, it's going to be too much to contend with. Even the Molotov actually hitting him, slowing him down. KNG is dealt with. Sharks get their first round of the second map.
So it turns out they did put his picture on the wall, but they've been using it as target practice. That's his first death. 8 kills to his name, having a fantastic start. Most of them, of course, with the MP9.
He's probably going to get multiple chances with the AWP as well. It's being brought out once again. As you said, that bank that he built up with the MP9 early on is definitely doing work right now. Oh, Nak. Tagged down to 16 HP. As he wanted to dive for the vents, doesn't quite make it. And therefore, gift-wrapped package from Destiny is going to be the end of it.
L can't see through that smoke. No barrel of the gun protruding through, as it sometimes does.
See, massive round for INTZ to be able to maintain their streak here to win this round. Molotov dropped early to prevent them from quickly diving on Yell at ramp. So he gets away with it, but meanwhile, Leo out in yard has been able to find Zan. Opens up another avenue for Sharks to attack from, and also more pressure points for INTZ to deal with.
Well, speaking of Vinny, this is the same position where he went huge earlier today. Yell is looking for more of the same. All he has to do now is stall. He doesn't have to get the highlight reel-worthy play to win the round.
One in Rome.
So well played by Yell, wasting so much time, but now Leo comes up. He got the first kill outside for Sharks.
Bob is dropped in a really awkward spot, though.
And time's also beginning to work against Leo. It's not looking good.
Yeah, has to go all the way into the dark corner to retrieve the bomb, and now using the smoke to cover off KNG, he kind of needs to find a different avenue. Actually picks up another smoke, so that's actually going to allow him to potentially get a bomb plant down, but KNG doesn't care about smokes at all. 5 rounds to INTZ. There we go. Started off the match with GGBet favoring Sharks. Now with INTZ firmly in the lead. Back being favored. Could be looking at a 2-0 here. 1.52, and yeah, you said, yeah, try to replicate what Vinny was doing. Not in the same fashion, but he still definitely does his part. Finds 2 frags and also buys so much time for the rest of his team to rotate in.
You can understand why the odds are changing. 5-1 lead, Sharks on a pretty poor buy, and not much money on the horizon if they were to lose this. This is about as good as you can ask for INTZ. He's just spotted a lot of players on ramp, so he'll be darting back, giving KNG the green light to pick it up. But actually, Sharks have decided better of this. They're moving back into lobby.
Well, it seems like INTZ are pretty quick to recognize that fact as well, that the pressure has gone away on ramp. Destiny moves up from vents again, so he's not going to get caught at least. Not yet. Bomb drops as well, and finds a second one as well. Does solid damage onto exit too. And this time, they don't check for the Vinny position, and Cello makes the most out of it. You can tell a bit more energy to INTZ now that they're on a bit of a run here. Definitely were periods where Sharks were out yelling them, at least on Mirage, once they got a bit of steam under them.
One map definitely helps as well, of course. They are 1-0 up. But this was brilliant work by Destiny. They did run into him 1-by-1, though, which is a bit of an issue.
Yeah. It's a hard angle to I guess, squeeze more T-sides.
Yeah, you can't trip over each other.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Now, though, tempo definitely switched up here. Vent dive coming in. This is pistols, but they've managed to successfully get down. Taking damage, sure, but Might give them a chance to get a bomb plant down here. Yell doing a solid job of dropping the bomb as well. 2 frags to his name. Nobody actually picking up the bomb immediately, though. Off the back of it, that's going to allow for KNG to find JNT. And now, pretty much your chances of getting a bomb plant have significantly vanished. An exit left alone.
Yeah. I'd say pretty close to 0, Van.
Yeah, that's, you're not wrong with that. Now, Cello continuing his good form. Started off the pistol with a 4K, now up to 11. So a fair amount of assists as well. Much better showing out of him here on Nuke so far than what we saw in Mirage. I think he's actually already surpassed the amount of frags he had on Mirage. If I'm not mistaken. He was rummaging towards the bottom there. Now, tall order for Sharks to get back into this. Called the tactical pause to talk things through. I mean, I'm not the body language expert here. That's you, as we've earlier established. But what do you have to make of the, I guess, the posture on the side of Sharks? Not looking too hopeful, is it?
It's looking grim. It's looking grim, isn't it? You can understand why, too.
It's been a bit of a rough one, hasn't it?
I mean, they've got to keep their sort of positives going, that they're on the T side. They can easily still come back into this. It's not over yet, not even close.
So lots of Counter-Strike left to be played. And I mean, it's not like they got off to a hot start on Mirage either. Yet again, the vent dive for Leo. Actually, everyone's getting down the vents. And this time, much better results coming from it. Only issue, though, KNG, he's downstairs already. He's found the bomb. Oh, this is the first one. Actually gets punished this time. Exit with a double kill. Oh, JNT, you're in trouble. Zand might be a little bit over-eager there. Going for the early frag before actually seeing the full body. Bomb's gone down, and this is just going to waste valuable time.
Stabby stab.
I'm not really sure why JNT wanted to start spamming through the smoke at that stage, but definitely gives away his position. So 1,500 bucks at least into the back pocket of Zand. So now that they save, a little bit more cash to work with as they have to rebuy here. Yell running a little bit low on his reserves.
I was going to say originally he should give that red container a hug because it saved his life. And now I'm thinking, well, if he just died, it wouldn't have been extra money in the back pocket. And, of course, the sad times of being knifed.
Yeah.
So, every cloud.
Well, then, at least they get a second round, though. That's by far the more important part here for Sharks. As you said, still not out of it by any means. Lots of time to get back into the swing of things. And even though we've seen a definite trend of teams getting more and more T rounds, doesn't mean that you have to get necessarily 7 or 8 to stand a chance at this. Usually when we see Nuke specialist teams, I mean, as good as they can be on the T side, they can definitely have shutout halves once they swap sides.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, sure. But what's worrying me, then, is one of their better players, RCF, is 009.
Yeah.
So it's all well and good trying to mount a comeback, but they need one of their better players to really stand up, and it's Cello that's doing all the talking with his AK-47. Zand helps him out, but there's his second. He's shattering and smashing this aggression. JNT been smoked out. Bomb's in a horrible spot this round.
Falling apart.
It's dire, isn't it?
Really is. Another Molotov just to add injury to the already pretty sad situation that JNT finds himself in. Everyone on the side of INTZ gathered around the inner bomb site. They know the bomb's dropped. No reason to leave. If JNT wants to try to save, I think they'll just be happy to let him do that. Instead, Destiny pushes forward, gets found out. 1v3 definitely makes it more doable. Didn't take too much damage in the process either.
It's more the issue now that they can focus their attention on Hut and Squeaky for the time being. He spots a second. KNG will call to the rest of his team that he's currently situated in Hut, hence all of the wall banging.
Cello definitely fumbles the spray there. Now, though, how do you get out of this corner without dying to KNG? Well, I guess that's one way. KNG actually drops down. That feels like a bit of a mistake. Cello down to low HP as well. This could definitely be done now. Time is becoming a bit of a factor, though. You can see INTZ playing very passive, knowing that they've been close to fumbling this away, but Cello peeks in at the right time. Still very, very prominent opportunity there for JNT to actually swing that back.
Yeah, I can only assume that KNG just made a mistake and slipped. Yeah, because you want the higher ground. It adds different layers of verticality. It makes it even harder to come out of there because you're having to switch your spray control or your one-taps from headshot height suddenly up to a different angle. It's a brutal way of doing it, but hey, these things happen. That is costly, though. They lost a couple extra players that wasn't necessary.
Could have gone out of that round with 4 players staying alive instead. It's just 2. They also, well, I do imagine that Cello picked up the AWP that KNG dropped on the lower bomb side, or on the bomb side, but still, reinvestments having to be made.
It's the armor, the kits, the nades.
All of it.
Additionally, an extra M4 needs to be picked up. You know, it all has a knock-on effect.
It does add up. You can see, yeah, it's not too great in terms of reserves for INTZ. KNG sitting at 2K, Cello at roughly 3. But outside of that, not really too much money on their side. And there's still going to be another buy coming in from Sharks here. So this might be the round that swings things back in their favor. Molotov's gone down. KNG misses once more. Second time around, though, it's not going to get away with it. But that is such a hopeful swing from RCF.
You have 2 smokes still. Like, why are you not putting the wall of smokes down? Okay, they have got KNG, so it's somewhat making amends. But that's such a head-scratching moment.
It's unnecessary, right?
Especially when you hit that first AWP shot miss, you're like, okay, right, he's going up outside, let's maybe not test him.
Yeah, and I mean, even if you want to do continue on with the boost on top of T-Red, you can do that with the smokes down. KNG is still probably going to try to fire off shots through the smoke at least once or twice. So you get just a good of an opportunity, really, to get the kill. Nonetheless, though, they managed to bring it back, and they have made their way down towards the lower bomb site. You can see there's one player from the ramp side, that's Yell, kind of hanging about. He needs to be worried about Knack eventually as well.
Destiny is making moves downstairs. They have no idea.
Oh, God.
They have no idea at all. Let's say cue the Jaws music, but it's the Sharks that are about to get hunted now. Destiny, he's about to put down some serious pain. I think Leo saw him.
I'm not sure if he actually did. Just like felt like that was a little bit unsafe. Nonetheless, though, it does end with them getting a bomb plant down and the kill onto Destiny. So what was looking so fruitful for them is quickly falling apart. Yell, and the initial defender of the lower bomb site, still well and alive, but his team is kind of going by the wayside. Finally, the backstep comes in from Knack. He was very patient about it. So was Yell, but still nets Sharks another round. And now we'll see, though, if this, a bit of a fumble in the 1v4 actually has INTZ going for a bit of an eco here. Could be the case.
I'm absolutely mind blown that with Destiny's flank, all 4 of the players of Sharks survived that round. I was sure that not only would INTZ win the round, but it would be like a comfortable one. We saw Stanislaw almost do an identical play earlier today.
Yeah, just very successful one.
Yeah, the only difference that actually worked. So it is going to be a save, as you highlighted.
Yeah, no crazy force buys here. And this is something we saw Fury do as well. JNT trying to summon his inner art. Cello, I mean, doing the best Vinny impression as well. So we're seeing a lot of inspiration from Fury here in this one, but JNT is going to be able to clean it all up and all over. Pretty solid round from Sharks there to be able to deal with it. So 4 rounds. Again, we talked about it. It's not necessarily doom and gloom if you only end up with 5 to 6 rounds on the T side of Nuke. You can still shut it out. Again, if Nuke is your map pick, you're more likely to have solid rotations, good communications on the CT side, which is pretty much the alpha omega of being successful on this map. Even if you might have a bit of a struggle on the T side, you can still make up for it. So INTZ, for as good of a start as they had, still need to keep pressuring Sharks here.
Smokes deployed just to stall the squeaky push. Made lands plumb on the face of RCF. He's lost nearly 50% of his HP.
Yeah, I'm curious, has RCF actually gotten on the board yet? Sharks have been winning round, but I'm not sure if things have quite loosened up for him. Exit, oops. Didn't quite connect with the ladder, but it's only 11 HP at the very least. Actually, that could be pretty significant considering they're going up against M4s.
Yeah, it puts him into the headshot range now of the M4s, insta-kill. So it's a little bit of an unnecessary vulnerability.
Then see what comes of it. Put down the smokes outside in the yard. Actually not going to utilize it to the normal effect. It's going to be Leo to swing in from main.
Again, they go looking up at the top of hut, and then they're not there. Stacking a lot of their chips on the table, and so far, it's not working out for Sharks. It seems as if that round is going to be more of an island.
Do make their way downstairs, but Yelts should be here to at least put up a bit of a fight. Actually, it's Zand to do it, but still, end result is the same. 2 quick kills for him with the tagged up players on the side of Sharks in the 9th round. INTZ bringing it back here. Might get into double figures sooner than later. Yeah, RCF still yet to frag. It's not ideal, as you said. Meant to be one of the heavier hitters on Sharks, and for him to go missing at a time like this, definitely not what you need.
So many grenades being tossed towards Hut, giving him safe passage downstairs. It's not without injury, though. Knack, Exit, Leo, all feeling the sting of the Molotovs and the HEs. Bomb is going to get planted. All 10 players remain. Not for much longer. First blood in round 14, claimed by Leo with an AK-47. KNG peering around the corner. Quick shot onto Leo. RCF is going to step up. There we go. He's got some kills. They could be very impactful for the round 2 and the half.
Definitely is. Finally gets on the board, and that pretty much secures the deal for Sharks as well. And looking at this, I mean, 1,600 on Cello, 2K on KNG, but the rest of them being pretty broke. Well, yell at 1,500. It's not going to be a great buy going into the last round of the half here for INTZ. See, 2.9, 3K, 2-1, 1,700 on Zand. This could very easily be a 6th round coming up for Sharks here. Considering how many struggles, it's at least felt like it's been an uphill battle for them throughout this first half. Getting 6 rounds would be pretty respectable. RCF with his 2 first frags of the half come at a much needed time as well.
Honestly, what's even more brutal than him not having a kill up until that point is he had 6.3 ADR.
Yeah, he hasn't even been touching people pretty much.
Yeah. But that changed. He's now put himself a few kills. KNG before the smoke. Gonna get Exit down, but Leo aggressively forcing his will, imposing it on INTZ. The firepower favoring Sharks.
Well, they know that he's there, though. How do they deal with it? That's the bigger question. How do they actually get Destiny out of his position? They do have people working on their way up to heaven. Destiny's actually just walking around freely on the side. If Sharks had been a little bit more affirmative, could have gotten something out of it. Instead, it's going to be Yelt on the rotation under heaven. That's going to go down. Yet again, Sharks focused on that lower bomb site.
Man going to be tested. MP9 up close. Flashbang destroys him, but Cello, it's going to help him out. Bodyguarding Zand. Player advantage shifts and shimmies into INTZ's favor. JNT, pardon me, is going to be going for the fake plant. See if somebody's going to go peek out a decon.
Not happening, but how do you get a bomb plant here? Well, you don't. That's pretty much the easy answer. And INTZ, with the labored buy, still managed to pull it through, so they do make it to double figures. That is somewhat unexpected, but still, all to be played for here in the second half.
It sure is, and we're going to find out if Sharks can come back or if they are going to lose 2-0 after this very short commercial break. It faces Sharks head on. Can they muster the strength to come back on their choice of map, Nuke? If they can't, INTZ will move to face off against NRG in the next matchup in the upper brackets.
Well, we'll see what Sharks have in store. Again, it's their map pick. It's oftentimes, I think it's safe to assume that they should have a good grasp of how to play that CT side. That's something that usually Nuke specialist teams do pretty well for themselves. See if they can live up to that. Away we go with the second half pistol. But again, quite the important one at that for Sharks.
It'll be fast. Gonna be up in the face of Sharks. JNT turning his back to make sure those flashbangs don't affect him. Doesn't make any difference though. He's still gonna be smacked down instantly. INTZ are just swarming the site. Leo, the next player to fall, and the flashbang. In the face of RCF, he can't really do anything to counteract his fallen teammates. He's going to be stymied and forced back in heaven. He's been spotted now. He knows there's going to be multiple crosshairs facing him. He decides to try and make a different go of it towards main. And there is Zan with a USP. Second pistol round one. 11-5 lead, and it's starting to look a little bit bleak for Sharks.
It's not the start that they wanted, that's for sure. Completely overrun. JNT there just waiting for so many more nades that he just gets into a spot where there's no idea where the opponents are. He's already lost any sort of crossfire help from his teammates and eventually gets picked off. He's turning it back. Might help against flashes, but they certainly don't help against bullets.
KNG in this series is just one kill shy of 50. He had 31 in the first map, 18 here on Nuke.
Your bottom dollar. He's not going to stop at that.
There's the 50.
Yep. Decapitates Knack, and he's looking for more on top of T-Red. Smokes go out. Molotov behind CT Red, or CT Blue, I guess it is now. If he can force JNT out of position, he's not going to go that deep. He's already spotted out exit, though. They're just really posted up here out in yard, refusing to move, see if there's anybody else that's going to gift wrap themselves in. And they do. 3 kills go the way of INTZ. Leo Drunky with a Zeus. Might be able to pick up one. He does. It's such a satisfying sound, isn't it?
What isn't satisfying is it's a MAC-10. He was hoping for one of those assault rifles.
Yep.
It's not really a worthwhile gun in the future, and KNG decides, I'm just going to spray through the smoke. What could go wrong?
Absolutely nothing. 97.7 ADR as well, so not just getting kills, doing a ton of damage all across the board.
There's going to be a lot of plaudits for KNG with how well he's done over the duration of this best of 3, but Cello is really putting in a shift as well. 19 kills, but 8 assists. His ADR is off the charts too.
Yeah, and he was doing such a good job here on Nuke early on. I mean, go back to the first round pistol, or first half pistol, ended up with 4 kills. Set them off on the right track, that's for sure. Apoka giving notes and details to his team. And we'll see if the time it's taken, basically because they're assuming that there's going to be buy-in here from the side of Sharks, considering they only ran into USPs in that previous one. If they do assume so, they'll be right. Limited utility on the side of Sharks. Again, as always, pretty tough to deal with any sort of executes from a T-side team without Molotovs. See if the pace is slowed down. It doesn't seem like it. Onto ramp we go, and what an opening from RCF. Had a rough time of it over on the T side. Here now, already doing better for himself. Everyone's just falling apart here. Whatever utility mishaps or issues they might have had doesn't really come into play at all. Only Zans to find any sort of reply.
Yeah, I never take joy in seeing a player struggle, so it was good to see RCF that rattle off a few frags as we know he's capable of. Hopefully this is the beginning of something special for him and Sharks from a neutral's perspective.
For them to get back in this kind of a buy as well is such a big deal. Now it's all about making sure that enough people stay alive. We saw INTZ having a bit of a slip up there where a 1v4 went down to a 1v2. Still ended up winning it out, but I should say 4v1 into 2v1, but that definitely had a lasting impact on the economy of INTZ that could have spiraled things out of control. And same thing goes here for Sharks, except that they don't really have any cushions to play off of. And Zand's going to find a second one. That's not going down.
Have we spoke too soon here for INTZ? They've got Zand going back to spawn. So no, they are going to be conceding the round. But a couple kills going to allow Sharks to mull over a few decisions going through into the buy time up with replenishing some guns. They don't really have the funds to afford an AWP, which could be a bit of an issue, as there is definitely a buy on the horizon for INTZ.
Yeah. Sharks not going to be in a perfect position, but at least they do win a round, and they can start that CT side comeback. Poca rallying his troops on. Bit more of a laid-back approach from the Sharks coach.
Yeah, I was going to say the difference is quite staggering. It was the same earlier when Furia were playing in RG.
Yeah, Amapet being just completely quiet, and then you have Guerri just shouting from the top of his lungs.
I mean, having a super hype coach, it depends on the players whether that works or not. Some players are way more chill. They prefer a more relaxed environment.
It's very true.
Outside control being established. INTZ going to be pushing through the smokes. No one's home for the CTs as it stands. And again, this is mainly, you have to say, down to a lack of AWP. Can't really afford to station anybody in garage or just outside. Even Heaven, you saw KNG doing a lot of work on the CT side. And he is the first player to peak, and of course he is. His confidence must be sky high with how he's playing.
I mean, he's got a scope on that gun too, right? So it's pretty much an op. Works the same way.
RCF maybe next on the chopping block. He showed himself on the lockers. There's more than just Yell up here, though. There's so many targets for him to pick, and he seemingly got stuck in transition and indecision in his mind as to who he should focus fire first. Now ramp is going to be the battleground that INTZ decide to fight and potentially die on. Smoke tossed out from RCF. 3 players pushing him, but Nak is there to at least get the retaliation kill. A 2-on-2. Some serious damage being inflicted by Exit, tagging Zand down to 28 and dealing with his teammate of KNG. He was thinking about going for the full plant. He's just a bit worried in case Leo pushed through the smoke, but that's not going to be the case. And he's going to be afforded the chance to actually reposition now. I think he's going to push into decon potentially.
Oh, door still being open as well, yeah.
That is a slight mistake from Sharks that could cost them so much.
See, yeah, they're going to have a hard time figuring out where Zand is playing from now. You have diffuse kit, at least on Leo, so you can play for a bit of time as it stands right now, but no smokes, no way of actually cutting him off, but Leo apparently has read that situation brilliantly.
Yep.
Sharks get their 7th.
When they saw that decon was open and they checked the other angles, where the bomb was planted, it was perfectly for control room, so may as well have one player staring up there just on the off chance. Good attempt by INTZ, but Sharks up to the task. There's really this play from Exit when he gets a kill and does a ton of damage to Zan. That was the pivoting moment.
Oh, absolutely. Now, let's see, it's not going to be a fight back from INTZ just yet. You can see pistols being invested. Actually, Zand diving pretty deep into the checkbook to find a MAC-10 and a couple of nades, but see if we can actually do something for him. Oh. Yell ran out of bullets on his ZZ. Zand has actually found a frag with a MAC-10, so getting some return on the investment. It's not going to find a second, is he? No. RCF aggressively pushing into lobby from ramp. There's no doubt that he's the most vocal player on the side.
About time we heard something from Sharks. They got something to cheer about.
Absolutely. And again, very, very possible to get a streak going on the CT side.
So another tactical. Similar idea behind the Furia timeouts earlier too. If Sharks start to get a little bit of momentum, let's just quiet it down somewhat. Let's make them stew.
Is it weird that I'm disappointed by the fact that Apoka doesn't keep the same kind of intensity in his timeout talks as he does when he celebrates rounds?
I don't know,
Can you
man.
imagine having a coach like that just screaming in your ear?
That would do my head in, to be honest. It would be very entertaining to watch.
Yeah, exactly.
Though.
Like for entertainment value, I think it'd be amazing.
Just dancing around, screaming.
Yeah.
You know, just basic tactics, like not even mad.
Yeah, it's just like, do the default. Really hammers the point home, doesn't it, though? Oh, bit of a gap there for J&T to potentially work off of. Seems like it's just initial smokes being thrown out. Nothing really that INTZ wants to commit on early on. Okay, I say that second smoke goes down, and that definitely blocks it. So Destiny's gotten into position behind T-Red.
Much slower pace. INTZ perched up passively on top of Silo, just watching the lobby. Sharks have played aggressively a couple of rounds, so making a read. It's almost like an anti-eco sort of step from INTZ, but they know they're against rifles. They're just trying to slow this right down. Start to build up the pressure now with KNG finding the entry onto exit.
A lot of this can rely on when RCF decides it's safe for him to push behind. You can see after that initial trade there, he was kind of lingering. Just thinking about it at the very least, but we're going to see a setup for yard smokes here from INTZ. Still going to have to deal with RCF at some point, though. Zan might be the one to get a bit of a nasty surprise here.
That's a grueling angle. You're up on a different headshot angle, but also perfectly plays crosshair of your own. J&T funnels the shot onto KNG. There's a player to his tight left, which is the bomb carrier of Cello. He is low, and there's Nuke around the backside. Destiny was the player that they were trying to set up to get down secret with their smokes.
I did get down, but it's not all A-OK, as you would imagine from that body.
It's like the Terminator thumb. He may have burned, but the rest of his team's going to be all right.
Yeah. Or Destiny is going to hold on to the AK at the very least, but not the round that INTZ wanted. So the Sharks' comeback is looking more and more likely. Kind of reminiscent of what we saw in Mirage as well. Although this time it's on opposite sides. It's the CT side where Sharks are going to have to do most of the work here. RCF as well, from having an extremely rough T side, starting to get back into the groove of things. 8 kills to his name. Keep in mind, it took him 14 rounds to get a first one. He's been stepping up the pace.
Yeah, sure has. Been doing a good job on the CT side. They're going to be funneling down onto the top of main. J&T doesn't snatch at his chance. He just decides to play a bit more passively. It does cost Nuke his life, but it's worth it. One death for a potential round. They'll definitely take that trade. AK-47 will be retrieved on Yell. No Kevlar, aim punch a problem. I mean, to save this AK wouldn't be a terrible idea. It's just more the fact that there's a minute and 10 to play with.
Yeah, that is a definite issue. Then again, we've seen actually a fair few of these teams at the minor here not necessarily being too keen on hunting. More focused on what they have to play with themselves, more so than their opponent. And again, though, there is always the downside of surviving as a T. I mean, as you said, it doesn't have Kevlar or anything to that effect, so that's something that he would have to reinvest into regardless. And for that AK to really have any sort of prominence in the upcoming round, so might have just been better off for it. Updated odds from GGBet. Sharks are creeping closer once again. They started off the game being favored. Obviously, then we had the big run of rounds from INTZ that put them ahead. Right now, the CT side is looking primed to continue picking up rounds as we wait for the T side here to find any sort of answers.
Yeah, it has been a seesaw of Counter-Strike, up and down for both teams. It's been hard to really completely back one team over the other. INTZ definitely looked like they were going to take this away. But full credit to Sharks. They are showing they do have a bite after all.
Absolutely. We saw Coachy, the coach, no pun intended, of Sharks, providing his insight. It's a former player for Kick Esports back in the heyday of the Portuguese 1.6. With Fox and the likes. We'll see, though. Nuke has been able to tuck himself into secret room. Smoke goes down. He's going to be able to peer over that with the smoke down. This is a great angle for him to hold. Obviously, it's a bit on a timer as well. As soon as those smokes dissipate, he needs to tuck himself into the corner again. KNG misses the opportunity to find an opening. Still very exposed.
Yes, but I think that smoke is starting to clear, or already has cleared. So now Nuke has to play more passively. If he were to peek out, it'd be a free kill.
Question is, how patient is he going to be? Will someone from INTZ actually expect this angle? Jello just making sure everything's all right in the lobby. Here, the majority of the push is going to land at the feet of RCF. He has a Molotov primed, so the second he spots his shoulder, that's going to get dropped down.
Yeah, that flash is going to do it. Doesn't need to see anybody. As soon as the flashes detonate, throwing a Molotov. JNT's joined him. It could be a fake, though. KNG outside.
That's so quick.
Going to get Nuke. Now they're not sure. Should we stay in ramp? Should we actually rotate? This is leaving RCF alone, but he's starting to make a move around the back as well. 30 seconds to go. This could come down to time still. Leo is perched on the A site. Molotovs being expended at the back of the vents. They try and clear out as many angles as possible before they decide to pull the trigger and go in. Leo's position now shown. KNG, though, bounces straight back with one of his own.
On their drop-down vents as well. Open avenue for the lower bomb site. Still, yeah, Sharks a little bit confused as to what just happened. Where did all the INTZ players go? Now they realize, now they might just have to give up on the round as well. Retaking with an op, man disadvantage, not an easy decision, especially when your quickest avenue down to the bottom of the site is vents, but they're going to deal with KNG, also Yell. And in a matter of seconds, they managed to retake the bomb site from inside vents. That seemed like a bit of a blunder from INTZ, if I'm honest.
And that's the most animated we've seen Sharks.
Well, it's a massive round for them. RCF is definitely fired up. Now even Kochi getting into it. All right, then.
Do you know what it reminded me of? The way he was sat there doing that? It's like a smaller brother like hiding behind their big brother. Yeah, that's right, you suck.
Take that.
But of course, as soon as anything happens, he's like,
whoa,
hiding
whoa,
away.
whoa, whoa. Like, I didn't say anything.
Wasn't me.
Oh, man. Well, yeah, that definitely picked up the spiced up the temperature here. Feelings running high. At the time being, as Sharks has already completed a bit of a comeback here. They might get even back to even numbers. 12-11. Pretty much an all-in buy on the side of INTZ. Obviously, they have a loss bonus to work with, but haven't really found too much success on their T side. A lot of it has been predicated on KNG doing stuff, and even when he picks up 3 in that round, still not enough.
By the way, if INTZ win this round, prepare the ceiling to get blown off. They are definitely having some words. There is no doubt.
Yeah, double op setup actually on the CT side. See how this pans out for them. Obviously, pretty much removes any type of mobility that they have. So makes retakes that much harder.
Hot flash in, but no one was even watching that side of ramp. Now RCF is going to come in. Even trade. JNT going to take that equality away from INTZ, and it's just got a whole lot worse. Yell still alive, exit the back of the site, is dealing damage. And Sharks going to get us back to even, and that's most of the savings depleted. INTZ in for a half bite.
Well, well, well. If pressure wasn't on INTZ before, it definitely is there now. They've only netted 2 rounds on this T side, and that was off of winning pistol and an anti-eco. Outside of that, it's been all CT all day. Exit doing a great job there with this SG. Net himself 3. I love the fact that it's like all the yelling, it's not directed at the monitor either. They're always looking over to
100%.
to INTZ.
But I mean, KNG did the exact same thing multiple times.
Absolutely. And you have to wonder if there's a similar comeback, you know, if anybody else is having to get pictures or posters on the wall. That said, though, KNG is doing his damnedest to carry this 28 kills to his name.
Yeah, he's 59 kills over this best of 3 so far.
Yeah, we're only 2 maps in. Well, not even full 2.
Unbelievable.
CF drops the Molotov early. Still not going to prevent them from running through. Finds one, but that's all there's going to be. Want to retrieve that J&T misses the opportunity to at least give them the man advantage. Krieg picked up. Zand has armor as well. And he's found 2.
Oh.
Okay, then. I think he accidentally found exit while shooting for Drunky.
I needed to see that on the replay because it did seem like it was a bit fortunate. I thought Sharks were just going to give up B and then pincer on them with the superior grenades and firepower, but this is quickly shifted out of control. And Sharks, do they even go for this? It's back on 37 health. They've got incendiary, they've got a nade. There we go. J&T's gone on to yell, but he's lost most of his health in the process, and Cello will push him over the edge. His 25th round looks like it's going the way of INTZ. Molotov banks off the box. That should be Cello out in the open. He may die as a result of it. No, he doesn't. That's what I was waiting for. Glorious. I love it.
Oh, this really, you know, it takes an old hard back, doesn't it?
It does hit those nostalgia feels.
I'm happy we get to see it in 2019 as well. It's not a thing lost in the past. And it adds in a completely different atmosphere. And yeah, you can see Zand is just firing away at will. Finds 2 there. Unfortunate for Sharks. But definitely what INTZ needed. The question is, can they actually follow up on this? That's a lot of things aligning for them to make that round happen. Still, at that point, it's still not easy for them. Another smoke goes down, so J&T without an opportunity to actually find a kill. Down secret we go. Rotations are being made currently, so they're a little bit slow on it on the side of Sharks, but with INTZ slowing down the tempos, should still be fine. Pretty heavily committed as well. Right now, it's only Knack. He has a lot of work to be done. He needs RCF to come down and help him out here. Prevent any sort of crossfire. Smoke's going to go down for control room window. So a little bit of pressure alleviated for the time being for Knack, at least.
Still a minute to play with. The T's don't have to fully push in just yet or commit to anything. Still have players watching behind them. Knack, though, in a world of hurt if they decide to push. It's good smoke. It's going to delay any control room pressure.
Still has a Molotov, too. And we've seen teams actually get stuck once they get lower control. They don't really do anything with it. Knack's going to lose out the duel, though, to Destiny. Big get, surviving on 2 HP. Zand, accurate as ever with that SG. Oh, this might be a disaster in the making for Sharks. KNG's going to follow up on that as well. And the 2 remaining players on Sharks, they've shown definitely the courage to attempt retakes, but a 2v5 might be a little bit too much to bite into.
Oh yeah, this is bridge too far. This is absolutely too much to ask, and they've got poor economy behind it. They can drop 2 guns as a result of this save.
They might have to, yeah. J&T have to purchase up for himself. That is, if they're allowed to save. You can see Cello and Zand. They know what's up. This is something that didn't really go punished when Sharks was playing that T side on Mirage, which allowed for KNG to hold on to it. As AVP and everything, it seems like they're prepared for it. They know what's coming. Zand still going to continue on his march. Any weapon he can take out of the hands of Sharks in this situation is going to be massive. Finds 1. And I mean, that's really all you need. That might actually just deter the rebuy.
Screw the match. Let's get one of those.
Can we get a live translator on the floor?
Too. But can we also get one of those measurements that gets decibels? see who wins in terms of just
it's
raw.
Like right next to a Poco. I think it might just shatter the device.
Just raw noise. I feel like INTZ are winning that battle too, to be fair.
At least at times. Sharks do reply pretty decently themselves, though. But they seem to kind of reserve their yelling for the real impactful rounds.
Yeah, I would love a translator, though. KNG's come up with some banging lines. I'm sure there's some...
There's definitely more to be had. So, yeah, for anyone at home speaks Portuguese and are able to make out what they're saying, please do let us know.
We might not be able to repeat half of it, I'm assuming.
That's okay. It can be our little secret. We can know about it.
Well, here we go.
Into the action once again. Not the greatest of buys, as you mentioned, on Sharks, but they're still going to commit to it. And they do have an op on J&T. One already. Cello aggressively out of Squeaky finds Knack.
Okay, the first kill. Gonna go the way of Sharks, which has been the first time for a little while now. Oh, JNT. Okay, and it's KNG that he's put down. A big part of the explosiveness of INTZ has been diffused.
Being a great opening kill for INTZ to all of a sudden losing 3 players at a snap of a finger, make that 4. Yell falls. Zan left alone. Okay, missed shot from JNT. Opportunity presented for Zan here. Oh, just not wide enough. Doesn't spot RCF coming up the ladder.
Doesn't get the kill though. He's given him a chance. He's given him a slight glimmer of hope. There is a second player through on Heaven's side. That's exit. 14-13 and silence. I was expecting an explosion again.
I think right now Sharks are just way too focused on what they need to do. They're still around behind. If they can make it to match point, I think we're going to hear a roar beyond anything else we've heard so far. Here we see Cello's opening frag onto Knack right before the smoke blooms. Look at this. It's the aggressive pushes that catches INTZ off guard, and obviously a bit of luck there for JNT to find the connection on the KNG behind the smoke.
INTZ may just think, okay, look, KNG got wrecked through smoke. That's just unfortunate. Let's not be deterred by that. There's an XM, though. This is the kind of range where it can be a nightmare, but that jump wrecked Leo. That jump absolutely threw him off completely. RCF is still here, though. Can he pick up the pieces? Can he try and turn this back around in a position where Sharks can get back onto the site? If he loses, and if Sharks loses, it's going to be 2 match points to INTZ.
It's not a lot of money really to rebuy either. JNT's got his head covered, at least for the time being. Oh, and gets his head ripped off for it.
RCF is still here, though. He's still lurking. He's not made any noise. Is this an angle you're going to check after killing a player in ramp side? There's a lot of times that INTZ aren't rushed into going for B.
They're waiting for Cello. I mean, we were, but Zan finds an opening onto Knack as well, and he's going to find second one as well. There we go, yeah. It's not Sharks making it to map point, but it is INTZ to do that. Apoka needs to make sure Zan sits in his chair.
Apoc is like, sit down, mate, come on. We've still got a game to play here.
Oh, man. It's turned into quite the battle, this. And, I mean, we talked about KNG leading the charge. Zan, for the better part of the last 5 rounds for INTZ, has upped his game. 28 frags right now. He's feeling hot.
Also, you know it's getting a bit out of control when it's Apoc like calming people down.
Exactly.
When it's him. The guy that's dancing around like a madman when they win rounds. Either way, Sharks have a really bad buy. As you say, it is proper bottom of the barrel, and Knack has missed his opportunity, missed his chance. This could be it. INTZ in cruise control. The Sharks can't handle them. That's a beautiful flashback.
Oh, still
decent dink, but not the kill, and that's not good enough for Sharks. They need kills.
Zan's going to continue on with the aggression. Doesn't directly go onto Heaven. Wants to check beneath as well. Be foolish to give away an SG in this kind of a position. RCF with the aggressive push. He might catch someone off guard. It's at least going to get a ton of information for his team to work with.
Yeah, poised, positioned, ready to push. JNT, that's the bomb down. In an awkward position, RCF is going to use that chaos to his advantage. All the kills going the way of the Sharks. INTZ are going to be resting on Cello. He still has a bit of time to play with, and 80 health remaining. This is doable. This is maybe getting into likely for Cello. He is behind in terms of health, but he's going to have the positional advantage. He's not sure if maybe exit's gone towards the Heaven. He's going to be peeking around the corner, and Cello connects the headshot. That's it done. INTZ 2-0, taking Nuke down.
And I think those pictures and those showings of emotions kind of speak for themselves on what that means for this squad. And it's a hard-fought battle. Sharks were definitely in it all the way. That last round, Cello with 1v4 to clutch it out. Absolutely incredible, and you can see it's all a part of the game. It's been yelling back and forth, but
screaming at each other, then they go and shake each other's hands like gentlemen. You love to see that.
That's how it's meant to be,
exactly.
right? Like all the yelling, all the words that are being thrown back and forth. It's just a part of the game.
Exactly.
When it's all over, just respect for each other's craft. And this time around, INTZ being able to close it out, and that was a fantastic match. I was a little bit curious as to what we were going to see. Obviously, we haven't had the opportunity to cast Sharks leading up to this point. But they definitely delivered, and I think INTZ, again, showcasing great form. KNG, just always a pleasure to watch play Counter-Strike, and I think towards the tail end of it, it was all about Zand.
Yeah, I think he got over 60 kills in those 2 maps, which, like, what can you even say about that? KNG on LAN, the guy's a beast. What can you say? He's absolutely phenomenal. It's great to see no hard feelings at the end as well, after all of the toing and throwing.
Absolutely.
The team's, like, having mutual respect. I really appreciate that.
But I think that's also, a part of it. Again, these guys have played each other, at local lands and so on, on the path to becoming good enough to play at a minor. And it's just par for the course for them. They're used to the yelling. They're used to the atmosphere that it brings. And I think, if anything, it just drives out the competitor in them. That's why we see these crazy moments as we just saw.
Indeed. Well, that's it for us today. We're moving over to the EU minor up next. But first, we're going to go back to the desk. What did you guys make of that?
Well, actually, I'm joined with Yell after that very passionate, very, very emotional victory. So, Yell, first of all, congratulations. You're through to that winner's final, just one best of 3 away from qualifying. And yet, this match, 2-0, there's so much yelling going on. Tell us, what's going through the team's head right now?
We're really happy. Like, I cannot express in my words because we worked so hard to be here. And reaching the finals, it's already amazing for us, but we need more. We want that spot at the major. And I mean, the yelling part is really normal against Brazilian teams, but it's all like everybody's friends. Just in the games that we talk like this, but it's everything fine.
It was amazing watching because there were quite a few moments where the past few days, it was your coach that we saw a lot of yelling from, but today, we actually saw that the coach a few times had to step in and say, hey, calm down, guys, it's not over yet.
Yeah, I don't know. His spirit was inside of us today, and we tried to put our emotions out, and that happened.
Well, let's talk about Mirage, because it was a victory for you guys, but it did get close at times, especially in that first half. You guys were up by a lot, and then we saw them bring it back and make it a lot closer. So talk us through that first half.
About the Mirage on City side, I think T side we did great. I think it was 8-7 for us. And on City side, they kept hitting B every time, and I always told the guys they were not gonna come B again, but they would. They just finished B every round. And it cut us off guard a little bit, but we did it on Mirage.
Well, Nuke as well became very, very close, especially on that second half when you guys were on T side. As the score became tied up, emotions were running high at the very end. How were you guys able to pull it through?
On Nuke, I was having trouble calling. They changed setups a lot, and nothing was working out. But I have a wonderful team. Everybody can step up. Cello did step up. Sean did step up. KNG. So when things are not working in the strat way, I have players that can pull up a 1v4 in the 15-12.
Well, that's absolutely amazing to see. And now with this victory 2-0, you're moving forward and you're going up against NRG, a team that has sort of been the Brazilian team killer here. They've been facing so many teams from Brazil. They took down the Sharks 2-0. They took down Furia 2-0. What are your thoughts?
NRG are always a hard team for us. They have great individuals and their strat part is also good. But I don't know, I have to study them tonight and see what's going on tomorrow.
Well, we'll look forward to seeing your passion again tomorrow. Congratulations once again. With that, the winner's final is set. It'll be NRG taking on INTZ tomorrow.
Yeah.
Wow, I'm so
Right.
I'm so
Classic,
hyped.
guys.
Testosterone.